My name is John Fobert. I'm a professor of higher education and student affairs at Oklahoma State University, and I also lead a national nonprofit organization called 1 in 4, which has worked since 1998 to end sexual violence on college campuses and in the military. How is pornography harming our society at large? From 2008 to 2011, exposure among kids under 13 to pornography went from 14% to 49%. Okay, just in those 3 years. Well, what's a big thing that happened? The ubiquity of the smartphone. There's no question that this generation has more access to pornography than anyone in human history ever. How do we describe to people why pornography and violence go together? Pornography is a recipe for rape. And I'm not saying that anytime someone uses pornography, they're going to commit rape. But what it essentially teaches people is that you're supposed to be violent when you're intimate with somebody. There was a study that came out of the University of Arkansas and NYU showing that 88% of scenes in porn movies include violence by one person towards another, usually a man towards a woman. But what I found most interesting about that research is that when someone hits another person in porn, 95% of the time they respond with either pleasure or they have no response at all. So it's teaching this generation that sex and violence are intertwined. The most interesting study I read most recently is one that did brain scans of men while they were watching pornography. They scanned their brains and they wanted to see what areas of the brain light up when men look at porn. It's the part of the brain that deals with objects, not people. The more we dehumanize someone, the more possible it is to commit violence against them. And that's what porn does. I study pornography as a scholar. I look at its impact. And one of the things that frustrates me is people who will say things are in the research that aren't, or they'll question solid research just because it doesn't fit their own opinion. And what they say is the connection between pornography and sexual violence is merely assumed. Well, we have over 50 studies showing a direct link between pornography and sexual violence. And from statistical odds, here's what we know. The odds that the pro-porn side who says there's no connection, the odds that they're right is like this. You take the Empire State Building in New York City, a real big building, you fill it with pennies. And then you take that and you make 1 billion Empire State Buildings filled with pennies. The odds that this pro-porn site is right is that you pick the right Empire State Building out of 1 billion of them, you go to the right floor and you pick out that right penny. That one penny represents statistically the likelihood that the pro-porn site is correct, that really there's no connection between porn and sexual violence. The odd that they're right is 1 in 1 decillion. This generation is being taught sex and violence go together. I do have hope, though, that we can unteach that. It's just we have a lot of work to do.